Okay. Maybe I will just maybe say a few words in Spanish, especially for those students who just joined the session. So I make sure that they understand what we did last time and what we have done so far. Okay, lady also. Okay, I'm going to switch to Spanish, just a few words, especially for those new students. Para los nuevos estudiantes, por favor, bienvenidos, y entendemos las dificultades que se han tenido con el tema de las inscripciones. Ha sido realmente muy difícil para mí. Cada hora aparece un nuevo estudiante y sale uno, entonces me excuso también porque me ha resultado difícil mantenerme al día y yo voy actualizando la lista, pero por ahí creo que de pronto hubo un par de estudiantes que los dejé como en la mitad a uno no le envié el mensaje, al otro de pronto le envié solo uno, pero no el otro. Entonces, importantes tareas. Entonces, importante que los estudiantes pues tengan, se aseguren que yo les doy información sobre, bueno, el acceso, pues si están aquí es porque seguramente lo recibieron. Segundo, que tienen el acceso a Google Classroom. Ahí está la información también donde está el sitio web. María Constitución. Y mucho más importante, que se pongan al día lo más pronto posible. Una cosa que olvidé decir la vez pasada, de pronto nos faltó resaltarla, lo que lo dijimos en la sesión de orientación, profe Alfonso, esta sesión es de 12 semanas nomás, perdón, este curso es de 12 semanas. Entonces, en ese sentido es un poco más intensivo que los cursos regulares a los que ustedes están acostumbrados de 16 semanas. Por ejemplo, ya les dejamos una tarea que tienen que entregar la próxima semana. Para que lo tengan muy presente, ¿no? Entonces y un día que se falle, pues ahí hay que ponerse al día muy rápidamente. Bueno, pero no es por intimidarlo, sino para que lo tengan presente y de acuerdo con eso trabajen. Bueno, no sé si tienen, ahí está entonces el programa, entonces es importante el Classroom, os vamos a publicar las tareas y también en la página web está la publicación de las material de soporte al curso, sesión por sesión. Para que lo tengan presente. Un trabajo administrativo también, un par de minutos aquí, por favor. Carolina, hay unos estudiantes que entraron, pero que no estaban conectados, no he visto como actividades en el Classroom. Carolina, un segundo, Carolina, quiero asegurarme, la vi que apareció y escrita, Carolina Luque, de doctorado en estadística, ¿está? Carolina Luque. No. Acaba de escribirme hace un momento un estudiante, Carlos Andrés Chaparro, que apareció en la lista que descargué hace como una hora. Carlos Andrés Chaparro.
Hola, buenas noches, profe.
Bueno, sí logró recibir mi mensaje. Excusa ahí porque vi el mensaje. Y el otro es también reciente. El otro estudiante era. Entonces lo tenía aquí identificado, pero aquí lo tengo en la lista. Daniel Garavito, ¿está? Daniel Alfonso Garavito. Y hay otro estudiante que apareció hoy en la lista. Porque había 25 y luego aparecieron 27. Perdón, que se me perdió al mirar la lista de hoy, logro reconocerlo. Perdón, porque y les pido un poquito de paciencia ahí porque ha sido muy difícil, sobre todo como les decía, la clase va avanzando y ustedes tienen que ponerse al día. Entonces entendemos las dificultades que surgen para ponerse al día. Aquí tengo la lista de hoy. Los de la Nacional, digo, porque fueron Carolina y fueron Chaparro, sí, ya sé, fueron los dos que aparecieron nuevos. Ok, pedimos la vez pasada una información que es muy importante para conformar los grupos y algunos de los nuevos estudiantes y algunos de los que estuvieron hace una semana no lo han diligenciado, entonces es muy importante que hagan esto inmediatamente, incluso mientras estamos aquí ahorita hablando, por favor lo pueden diligenciar, que es información sobre su formación, su background y también sobre sus intereses, ¿listo? Entonces, para los que no lo han hecho, esto es solo para los que no lo han hecho. Y también, como ya dejamos una primera tarea, ya hoy se supone que ya tienen que haber escogido un conjunto de datos sobre el cual deben estar trabajando. Entonces, les pido que solo uno, pónganse de acuerdo, uno del grupo va y diligencia en su grupo, en su equipo, cuál es el conjunto de datos, una descripción breve del conjunto de datos que ya están trabajando para la tarea que tienen que entregar dentro de una semana sobre un análisis fundamental de ciencia de datos. Ok, y entonces ya con esto vamos oh, perdón, creo que esto me toca compartirlo, no lo está compartido tal vez a todo el mundo, voy a compartirlo al que tenga el enlace. Y ahora sí voy a hacer otra vez el switch, cambio al vamos de link, ¿ok? Al inglés, ¿listo?
Professor,
Entonces, Daniel.
what is the link for put the data that we decide to use?
I just posted there. The one that I just posted, the last one, I just posted.
Okay, thanks.
So you fill out your information about your background, about your interests, and the second one is so each team, just one person per team, just write the information, a brief description about the data set that you picked for the first assignment. Okay. After this administrative work, and of course we read you and we feel free to ask any question at any moment. And please bear with us because this has been very difficult. So been a little bit complicated, so be patient with us. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up. Very important, and just with people joining. Let me see the last person to join. Just 80. Okay. About data science. This is just a brief introduction to data science, and you need to read the paper, the survey paper, which is a very nice paper. So I really encourage you, and you have to actually, you really have to read this paper because it's a very nice overview about what data science is about. And data science is also about developing data products. And as we said last time, data products is some product, a deliverable that is produced from data. It's data driven. So it's enabled or it's driven by data. And there are many ways. And last time we gave some examples about data products. It could be a discovery, like, by the way, maybe you are not aware of that, but thanks to data, and of course, all that research for so many years that but humanity was able to develop these COVID-19 vaccines in such a short period of time. So there is a lot of computing there, statistics and data science in general to produce these discoveries of these types of vaccines for the COVID-19 a few years back. Predictions, services, recommendations, and last time we gave some examples about that. Decision-making, insight, thinking, model, mode, paradigm, tool, or system. So the data products come in many ways, many shapes. Okay, so but in the end, the data products have a big value, and they are based because they have knowledge, intelligence, wisdom, and decision. Okay, this is something I wanted to highlight again, and also I wanted to go over a couple of figures from the paper that you are reading if you didn't read it already. And there are some terms that are very popular that are related to data science, and you need to know the difference. And we mentioned last time, so data science is not artificial intelligence. Though, for example, data science is not artificial intelligence. They are closely related because in the end, the current paradigm in artificial intelligence is based on data, and it's called machine learning. But it's just one of the main methods that they use to produce data products, artificial intelligence, and in particular, machine learning or deep learning, which is just as a field of machine learning. So data science is not machine learning or artificial intelligence. Data science is not statistics. Data science is not big data. Okay, data science is not big business intelligence, though they are very closely, they are related somehow. Okay, I remember last time one of the mathematicians in the class helped me read this equation. So I always like this the way they put it, because it's a statistics, it's informatics, it's computer communication, it's sociology, management, data, environment, and thinking. Especially the last one is very important, thinking. And oh, by the way, I haven't realized. Think you guys haven't participated in the forum that I posted like a week ago. So you are supposed to participate in the forum. Okay, it's not like we post there some questions and nobody participates, because this is also part of the credit that you will get for this class. And it's interesting that we exchange ideas about that. Okay, so somebody is coming. Okay. And there are many government initiatives. One of the questions that we posted there, okay, Ivan, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So I did not notice that at all. Could you perhaps show us, because I really didn't notice it anyhow. I do not know if an email arrived with an invitation or something of that sort.
Oh, are you talking about the classroom or the forum?
The forum, yes.
The forum. Let me see. Let me see. Just make sure. Maybe I'm sorry. Let me just make sure. This is the exercise. Oh, wait. Let me see. I'm almost positive that I posted it. Yes, it's posted there.
Ah.
Yeah, when I sent the email about the assignment, I also mentioned the forum. Okay.
Okay.
And Ivan,
okay.
Can you please help me read the questions that are posted during this forum, this discussion forum?
So these are: how is statistics related to data science? Mention some data science initiatives of the Colombian government at a national or local level. And lastly, how are the latest developments in artificial intelligence or machine learning impacting the development of data science?
Okay. Are those questions clear in the forum?
Yes, they are. And so it still makes sense if we participate even this late?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
There are some.
Very nice.
Oh, but these are all their questions, or their comments from the previous class. Okay, but these are from the previous class. Okay, because I changed the questions actually, just in case. So the assignment is the same, but the form is different. Yes, you're supposed to participate at any time, even before the next class. Okay.
Very well. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So I was talking. Thank you for the question. And so there are some countries have taken this very seriously, and they are government initiatives to drive to push data science because of the importance of data nowadays. And also I wanted to show, just to highlight a couple of things. Remember, so especially in statistics, and most of the methods in traditional statistics and even BI, business intelligence, what they do is they talk about the past of the business or about the data, but they give you some explanations about the past. But so what we call some descriptive analytics, or explicit analytics, they just give you explanations about how things happen and why did they happen. Okay, so in general they talk about what happened. They happen in the business or whatever the context the data come from. So they talk about the past. But in data science, you are more interested in talking about the future or finding out information about the future. So the present and the future, especially. So some questions that you can answer with the data are, as you move from left to right, you try to answer the question, what is happening? So detection, alerting, are part, you advance into the present and the future from the past, and you try to discover what the key driving factors, why things are happening. And then as you move forward, then you try to give explanations on how and why some things in the company or the particular context that you are considering will happen. So you are interested in prediction and prevention. Okay, so you are interested in answering the questions like what will happen. So it's about prediction and forecasting. So you try to figure out things about the future, which is unknown. And also, when you move to the very end on this figure to the right, so especially thinking about companies, you're interested in how can I do, what can I do to make things happen in a company, for example, or in a particular context. Then the questions that you will answer are, what's the next best action that I should take? So it's about optimization and recommendations. Or what is the best action that I should take to make something happen? So we're talking about prescription then. And it's about decisions on demand, prescription. So it's all about prescription. So it's trying to anticipate the future and making things happen. So that's what data science is about. And from that point of view, then traditionally, when you use statistics or even business intelligence or even in data mining, you try to work on maybe not data mining exactly, because data mining may be like here in the middle, but you work or you try to perform what they call explicit analytics or descriptive analytics. So it's some information that is on the surface that is very easy to find, some patterns or predictions or information that are very important, that are very easy to find. So it's about reporting. For example, BI is a lot about, I remember one of the girls, maybe some of the guys, they say they worked on BI, business intelligence. Who was? I remember a girl. I don't remember if it was Laura or who was it who said that she worked on intelligence.
I am Stephanie.
Stephanie, remember? So what you're doing in BI is a lot of reporting, right, Stephanie?
Yes.
It's a lot of reports, dashboards to tell you what happened in the company yesterday, last week, a month ago, last year. There's
Yes.
a lot of this. So it's about the past, And thank you, Stephanie. So, and also when you perform a statistical analysis, it's also like, for example, you take average, the mean of some values, the standard deviation, this kind of information, some distribution of the data, but that's just talking about what the data looks like, and it gives you a description of the data. As you move forward in this direction, then you try to alert, remember about the present, so you give some alerts about what's going to happen in the right now, and then you try to anticipate as you move forward in this direction to try to see what's going to happen in the future. So forecasting, and then you move towards predictive modeling, and then you get to what we call implicit analytics, or like they call implicit analytics, or deep analytics. Deep, don't get confused with deep learning. Deep means that it's not on the surface, but you need to dig, dig, and then get to the bottom so you can find whatever information is interesting for the company. So it's related to optimization, prescriptive analytics, and very important is actionable knowledge delivery. So it gives you recommendations, like in the company, for example, and tell you what kind of actions you should take so you can get something or accomplish something in the company or in the particular process that you are analyzing. So we go from explicit analytics. Data science is more about going deep, going to find what is hidden there at the bottom or deep, and you do this by performing implicit analytics. And this also implies to use more sophisticated methods so you can dig into the data and get information that is hidden there. You know, and data mining is a little bit about that. It's something like somewhere here, because it's trying to mine the data to find useful knowledge for to make decisions. Okay, so I wanted to highlight this. And this. So as you move along from left to right in the last figure that I just highlighted. So as you move from left to right, it's more challenging, it's more difficult. It's going to be a higher effort to get there. And also, as you move from left to right, from implicit analytics to from explicit analytics to implicit analytics, then you get more and more into actionable knowledge discovery and also implicit analytics, and less explicit analytics. So in the first stage here, when you have like descriptive analytics or business reporting, like business intelligence, you do a lot of explicit analytics, like statistical analysis, the traditional statistical analysis. So a lot of effort is put on that, but very little into actionable knowledge discovery or implicit analytics. But as you go to predictive analytics or business analytics, then you do less of statistical analysis or descriptive analytics, or what they call explicit analytics, and then you get a little bit more into implicit analytics and actionable knowledge discovery. But when you get into prescriptive analytics, decision-making actions, then you actually perform a lot of implicit analytics and a lot of actionable knowledge discovery and very little of explicit analytics. And it's very important. Don't take me wrong, but to get here, you need to go from you start usually with descriptive analytics, then you do predictive analytics, and then you get into prescriptive analytics. Okay, so you have to do a little bit of everything before you get to actually get actionable knowledge discovery. So I think this is what I wanted to highlight today before we move on. So that was an introduction to network science, and that's why it's important that you stay hands-on on some data set and you perform some basic analysis. But very important is that you, based on the data, you pose some questions and try to answer some questions, and the final result will be some data product. Okay, so very important is that you pose some questions that you think that you can answer from the data. Okay, so this is what I wanted to, and the paper, let me see, did I open it? Yes, it's a very nice paper. I really encourage you to read it carefully, because it's like in a whole paper, you get a general overview about what data science is about. Okay, so please read it carefully. And then also you need to do the exercise about some basic data analysis. Okay, so after this, then I guess I'll pass the floor to Professor Alfonso. He will give us today a general introduction to what data science is about. Professor, the floor is all yours.
Okay, Professor Luis Fernando, thank you for that very complete introduction to data science. I guess you cover all the principal topics of data science. And from this introduction to data science, I'm gonna continue talking about a similar discipline, sometimes similar, sometimes not very similar, that is network science. Let me share the screen. I'm going to share my screen. Tell me if you are seeing my screen.
Yes, you're sharing.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Uh, Before talking about network science, let me go one moment to our web page. Okay. Are you seeing the web page? Uh, the last the last item here is projects. Okay. Projects. Click in projects, and here is projects other universities. I'm gonna click here. What you have here is very important. Uh, it, these are projects made by students of other universities in network science. This could be a very good guide for you for your mini project and for your project. For example, I'm going to choose this David Borowitz and Fred Golf, students of Stanford University. Here is the PDF. They decided to work on an analysis of sexual interactions in a student group, a very important uh, topic, I guess. Here is the abstract introduction. Okay, here is a beautiful network, and they do data analytics analysis of the network, some figures. Okay, okay. Uh, I am telling you this today because the most important part of the course are the projects. So from today, you can explore these projects. There are a lot of other sites where in other universities there are projects. For next week, I'm going to publish the projects that were made by the students of in this course a year ago. Okay, I have the articles I'm gonna publish for you can see all this information. I don't know if it is clear what I have just said. Yes?
Yes, entirely.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
The next thing, I'm gonna start the presentation. If you want to interrupt me without raising your hand, it's okay. It's like in face-to-face teaching. I am teaching a face-to-face class, and someone raised the hand or someone said, "Oh, professor, excuse me, I don't understand that." So you can interrupt me without raising the hand in the Google Meet or raising the hand, what you like. Uh, I think it's convenient to raise the hand or to interrupt me. It's more convenient than using the chat because you are going to practice a little of English. When you interrupt me, you say, "Oh, Professor Alfonso, I don't understand that," and what is, and we are practicing the English. But if you want to use the chat, no problem. Okay, this is clear.
Yes, teacher.
Here.
Okay.
Yes, true.
Okay, so let's start. The objective of today's session is to understand what is network science. It's a new discipline. It's a very beautiful discipline. It's a very important discipline today, and we're going to start from the beginning. Okay, we're going to start from the beginning. Okay. First, what is a network? A network is a very simple thing. It's composed of two components, nodes here, okay, and links or edges. And that is a network. No more. Nodes, links, nodes, and links. Okay? It's a common language. It's a common language for modeling, for describing phenomena. What you are seeing here is three different networks. The one on the left is a computer network. The one below, it's a protein or a biological network. And the one on the right here is a social network, I guess. Here are important actors, Al Pacino, Marlon Brando, etc. What they have in common, these three networks, the structure. The structure of the network is here. Excuse me, is here. Sometimes the common structure of networks is called a graph, but it's not universal. But look, a network is a graph with semantics. So a graph is the abstract model, the abstract structure, and a network is an instantiation, an instance of the network, okay? This is not universal. Not all authors agree with that definition, but we are going to adopt it. It's clear? We are going to
Yeah,
adopt.
Professor.
Okay.
Sure.
Terminology, mathematics, physics, computer science, and social science. They differ a little bit in terminology. Mathematics always use graphs. The word network in mathematics, I guess, it doesn't exist. Graphs all the time. Physics, networks, almost the time. Computer science also network, social science also network. Vertex, mathematics, vertex, physics nodes, and social science actors. Very important, actors. Because sociology, anthropology, they analyze networks, human networks, most of the time. And for the links, sometimes edge, links or edges, and in social science, ties. Okay? This is important because if you open a book of social networks, perhaps you're gonna read the word tie and not the word edge, etc. Okay? Terminology. Okay, examples of networks. Examples of networks. I'm going to begin with social networks. What you are seeing here, here at the right, is a social network, but not a technological social networks. When we talk about social networks, most of the time is Facebook or Twitter. These are social technological networks, but this is a social networks. These nodes are boys and girls, and these links are links of relations, friendship relations, or how many time they pass together, how much friends they are. Okay. This person here is called Jacob Moreno. He started a discipline, an important discipline. He started using this kind of graphs, this kind of figures. He called these figures sociograms. And look this in this paper. Social networking didn't start at Harvard. It really began at the girls' reform school, okay? Indicating the importance of this guy in the development of social networks, okay? Here is an important book that he wrote. I am talking about, guys, 1934, okay? 1934. I have here a video. I want to see a video. This video is not of 1934. It's a very recent video. I want to show you this video. Luis Fernando, if I play this video, the sound is going to sound?
Is it locally or is it on YouTube? We may not be able to listen to it, to hear it. Is it? Do you have it locally on your computer or is it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
Okay, so maybe you need to change the way you share the screen, and maybe you need to share it as that's the word, as a separate window there on Chrome, Google Chrome. So you need to open the window.
So I
You need to change.
and copy and paste the link. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you need to open the to change the way you share the screen.
Oh, I don't know what to do. Okay.
So you need to share the tab. So if you give me the link, I'll be happy to share it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I can share the tab.
I'm going to give you the link. One moment. Here,
You can share it here on the chat.
yes, but I need to. Okay, vínculo. Oh, it's not. I don't know where is the link. Ah, here it is. Control click. Okay. Wait a minute. No. Okay, this video doesn't need sound. So I'm going to
You don't need the something, it's fine, and you can
in
just
this video. Look. Okay. This is a dynamic video of what happened of what could happen in a school. Look, first grade, second grade, and this is the evolution of the relationships of the students in a day. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. There are a lot of things that are happening there. Depending on the hour of the day, there are more links, less links. Depending on the grade, here first grade, a lot of links, few links between grades. These are very common videos today for analyzing sexual relationships or friendship relationships in schools, okay? A very important tool, okay? Okay,
so in this example, the links refer to like the relationship, the way they relate to each other, right? Like maybe they talk to each other or something like that,
yes.
right?
Yes, the way they talk to each other, if they are in the park playing. I don't know exactly how they made this video, but this is a lot of work, and they are important tools for analyzing social networks. Okay, other type of social networks. This is James Moody. It's a very important researcher in social networks. And for example, this network that is here down is dating in high school. He collects information of relationships between boys and girls when they date, and this information was used for exploring the influence or how they could get sick by SIDA, no, by AIDS. This is a big, this at the left is a very big school, and here he studied the relationships of segregation, racial segregation. These are black people. Here is in red, but these are black people, and here is white people. And okay, a lot of research in these social networks. These are the social networks, the more normal social networks, technological. You know them. This is a photo. Facebook. This is Twitter. This is very important. Very important. Oh, now it's not Twitter. It's X. But okay. This is a very beautiful network. Mark Newman, it's one of the most important figures in network science today. He's from England, and he decided 10 or 15 years ago to study a very peculiar social networks. You know that dolphins are animals that are very social. In in a 2 year time, he associated with a person who knows about dolphins. He went to a beach and he stayed for a long time analyzing, uh, I guess 50. I don't know how many dolphins are there, and he established this network. Building a network is not easy. So this network, I guess, was very difficult to build, and they analyzed this network, trying to discover the relationships. One day, B scratch, this dolphin went away, and when this dolphin went away, the network changes. But 2 months later, this dolphin went back. So there were a lot of information they had to study this network, and he wrote a very important article identifying the role that animals play in their social networks. Uh, I guess this is a social network, although the nodes are not humans. Okay. Technological networks. This is the most important network today. This is the network that is most studied today, the internet. This is an old photo of the internet. This is a picture of internet. It's a very important network. This is the World Wide Web. The World Wide Web is another network. Uh, this is the physical internet. Internet. These nodes are computers. Yes. And this is a directed network. In what sense this is called a directed network? The edges, the links have direction. Okay. Very important networks, knowledge networks. This is a co-citation network. This, what you have here is researchers in network science. For example, here is Mark Newman. And this network, what is the meaning of the links? Two papers are co-cited if they are both cited by the same third paper. So if this paper here and this paper here was cited by a third paper, there is a relation between these two papers or these two authors. Very important networks that are studied for investigating how how the research is advancing or is not advancing in a field of knowledge. Okay. Economic networks. I'm not very fond of economy. I guess some of you know a lot about economy, but here is a network that studies how much trade is being going on between different countries, and the size of the nodes express the size of the trade. For example, United States is very important in trade, a lot of dollars, Greece, Italy, etc. Okay. If there's any question, please. This another type of networks. Millions of dollars invested in studying these networks. This is a very okay, an old network. I guess you knew Saddam Hussein for investigating and trying to destroy his network. millions of dollars trying to build the network and trying to guess what this group of people are going to do in the future. Okay, they are going to attack what city, etc. In Colombia, obviously, there are a lot of money invested in researching this type of networks. Okay. Transportation networks, Transmilenio, a very important network that affect us every day. Another important transportation network is what is this? These are airports and flights in I want to see this video. I'm gonna share the link with you, Luis Fernando.
Please do.
Okay, I'm gonna copy this link. Copiar. Okay. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. It's a short video, a very interesting video also of a network, of a transportation network.
Here we go.
Okay. This is how the network is changing also during a day, or what are the most important airports? What airports are important at night? What airports are important at, at noon, at the morning? Very important networks and are studied very carefully. Okay,
Professor, maybe you should emphasize that since this is a dynamic network, it's going to be harder to analyze, right?
excuse me?
Since this is a dynamic network,
Okay.
it's going to be harder to analyze.
Okay, yes, but okay, this is an important question because we are not accustomed to analyze dynamic networks, but this is a discipline that today is very important, and there are tools that are developed for analyzing those networks, and it's a new area, and I guess the future of networks are because all networks are dynamic networks. The majority of networks are dynamic networks. And we are accustomed to analyze a network in the paper, okay? Or analyze a network in a photo. But 99%, I guess, of networks are changing in time, okay? The relationships of persons in Facebook, they are changing in time. Today, I am friend of you, tomorrow, no. So this each day and in the future is going to be very important to analyze those networks. Thank you for the question. I'm going to share my screen.
Yes, please do it again.
Okay. Resume, I guess.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
So some slides back, you were sharing a network on commerce, and some arrows were wider, some others were narrower, some had different colors, and well, they were arrows, so they were
Okay.
directed. to what extent does one get to characterize a network? Because in that precise example, you have three attributes to each relationship between two nodes. And of course, we have seen networks before where the number of attributes is smaller.
Okay. Are you seeing this economic network?
Yes, that is what I am
Okay, okay.
referring to.
Here are different sizes of the nodes and different sizes of the links. Okay. I don't know exactly to what correspond this size. Here, it's a word that I don't understand. If you go from this light color to this dark color, here it says more worrisome. I guess the translation of more worrisome es para preocuparse más, algo así.
Más preocupante.
Más preocupante. So I don't know what have to do this with the economy, but I'm going to investigate. It's a good question, but in Spanish the word is me corchaste porque no
Yeah.
tengo la información completa.
Professor, but maybe you could, maybe if you allow me, and then I'll ask you a question, or maybe ask you to please highlight something about Ivan's question.
Yes.
So networks in general are hard to visualize because you can draw them in different, though it's the same network or graph, you can draw in different manners. So, and especially when you have too many nodes and links, it's going to be hard to visualize. So even that's still an open problem in general to visualize a graph in an easier and comprehensive in an understandable way. But maybe we could use his question to maybe highlight, because this is very intuitive. You know, you can use this information like to highlight. For example, if we are talking about if the arrow were roads, then for example a thicker arrow would mean that is a maybe wider road, and the smaller maybe is smaller or narrower road. But in other networks, and you can give some examples. You can also refer to something that tells you in an intuitive manner. It gives you a meaning to the arrow, the connection. You know, for example, if you're talking about a communication network, it's maybe a wider broadband. You know, or you know, the channel is wider or smaller, you know, or this type of information, or stronger. If it is, for example, a water what you are transporting, then it's maybe a thicker pipe than the other one that is thinner, something like that. So it's an intuition to tell you something about the relation that you are drawing in the graph of the network. I think Santiago has something to say. Santiago.
Okay. Santiago?
Hi.
Hi.
It's very interesting for me that problem. So about when your network is very dense with so many nodes and so many links between them, how actually there is exist optimal techniques to visualization, maybe the variability of the some parameters of that problem is the best visualization for understanding your particular problem, and that algorithm is optimal for your visualization. Yeah, is maybe it's an optimal technique to summarize, yeah, like resume your network. Yeah, there is exists something like that.
Yes, let me show you. I'm gonna show you an interesting network. There is a a very good program, an excellent software for visualizing networks that is called Gephi. I recommend.
G'day, Mick. Got some bad news. We're not going to make it. But today's the final. Did you let Rocket dive? No?
Something's playing out in
Excuse
the
me,
back.
there's noise. I don't know. Someone is watching a movie?
Some cartoons or
I actually think it is
Hello,
you.
hello. It's me?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
G'day, Jacko. You up for a run?
It's me?
Yeah, there you go.
Yes,
Hello?
yes, yes.
Yes, I guess it's another window that is they're playing a video.
One moment.
Okay.
Yes, I think you need to close the other window.
Yes. Or pause the video, the other video that you were having there in the other window. But if you allow me, Professor, yeah, that's a hard problem, Santiago and everyone. And so there are some methods, and visualizing networks, like especially big networks, is complicated. I just posted one of the popular statistical methods, the stochastic methods, rather, probabilistic methods to display networks. TSNE is one, and let's see, my screen use UMAP. I'm trying to find UMAP Wikipedia. And there are some other classic algorithms to display graphs. Let me see UMAP. What they do is dimensionality reduction.
Yeah. But I actually I need a very well technique by my problem because my representation is very intricate.
Yeah, here there is another UMAP. These are two examples. They are stochastic methods. TSNE, Oscar, not TSNE is not. Oh, are you talking about TSNE, Oscar? It's not the same as K-mean. It's a stochastic method, and K-mean says in general is.
Okay, guys, I'm back. I don't know what happened. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, Professor. Professor, yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know what happened.
Continue, please.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Okay. Santiago's question. I'm gonna answer Santiago's question with this big network. This is a worm. It's called Selegans. His brain has a lot of neurons. So we are going to see the brain of this worm, okay? It has a lot of neurons, about 500.
Neurons.
The neurons. Okay. I'm gonna open a very important program that we are going to use in this course that is called Gephi. Okay.
Very famous word, by the way, C. elegans, and we have a biologist here,
Yes.
or maybe two, I don't know. At least
Very famous.
Yeah.
A Nobel Prize was won by the persons who could map the brain, the Selegans brain. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Look, Santiago, do you see? Are you seeing this? Santiago.
Yes, I see.
Okay, this is a network. You understand something of this network? Not much, okay?
Actually, no.
Okay, but look what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a visualization algorithm. Okay? For example, okay. Look, Okay, now the network is in a better way, I guess. But it still is complicated. Yes, it still is complicated.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's my it's maybe
Yes.
it's a tribal thinking, but there is exists a new technique for every problem, no? Yeah, so you need particular parameters to that dimensional reduction based on your problem, on your data, no?
Yes. This is what I'm doing. Okay, Santiago, look. Dimensionality reduction. In network science, they are called communities. This network has 6 communities, 6 clusters, okay? I could isolate one cluster. I guess if I go here, for example, look this. Now what you see, Santiago?
Yeah, I see.
A part of the network. This is the brain of the worm. And these are functional neurons. These neurons are for seeing, for smelling, these are for moving, etc. And in this way, we can analyze a network. Okay, divide and conquer. Okay, divide and conquer. I don't know if it is clear for all.
Actually,
Yes,
Professor,
teacher.
Okay.
actually, this is very nice because when you anticipate what we are going to see later in the
Yes.
class, right?
Yes.
So we are going to see how you do to actually do this type of analysis, like trying to find these clusters, these communities that, in this case, refer to some functional activities of the brain, of the Z elegans brain.
Yeah. I
And
was
Okay. Yes.
thinking about this kind of representing is very popular in TDA, topological data analysis articles. It's very similar when you are working on the brain, human brain.
Yes. Yes. This is an important technique for analyzing the brain, for analyzing complicated networks. So today there are a lot of tools. Gephi is a very good tool. A month ago, I discovered a new tool that I guess is better than Gephi, but you know that this is changing every day. Uh, any other questions? If there are more questions, it's the best way to do that. If there are more questions.
This software is free.
Uh,
yeah, there are some tools that are open, like um,
Something's off with the mics, professors.
Professor, did you mute your mic? I guess you muted or something happened to your microphone, Professor. Are you speaking because we cannot hear you, Professor Alfonso? I don't know. Maybe he had some some connection. Sorry. Let's wait for a minute, and if not, I'm going to contact him. Contact him. I was trying to look for another example regarding Ivan's question. Let me see. Mhm.
Yes, and if I may, since you are looking into it a bit further, what I meant to ask was in practice, how many or how complex do these networks that we work with get? because there is evidently a point beyond which we cannot understand, nor can we even represent a very complex network as per the number of variables we are taking into account. So that was actually the motive of my question.
Well, I can give you an answer, a quick answer. Yes, they can become very complex, and then that's why you try to get some. You're back. There was
Yes.
I don't know if we lost you for a minute, and there was an interesting question about how to analyze networks because they can get very complex, huge networks, and they are going to be hard to analyze. Then Ivan's question, which is very important, is how can you do if the network is so complicated? Is there a limit on the size of the network? And that's why we're going to see some concepts and methods to be able to get like the essence of the networks and try to get some patterns, no matter how big the network is. In something like in algebra, I don't know if you guys remember that you have this basis, the concept of basis of a vector space. It's something similar and analog to that one. There is an analogy to like that, because you don't need to study all the elements of the vector space, but rather you focus on the basis of the network of the vector space. Then you get the essence of the network, and then you can get a general information about the network, and that's what we're going to study later in the class. I don't know if you get the point, Ivan and everybody else.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Professor, you are back. We lost you. Something
Yes,
happened.
yes, I have a problem with my internet connection, but I guess it's good now. With regarding to the question you are answering, in data science is happening the same thing. Data science begins with few data, thousands, then it go to millions, billions, and the community of data scientists now have tools for analyzing very large amounts of data. With network science is the same as small networks, then bigger networks, and now there are tools for analyzing very large networks. In Stanford University, it's the leader of this research, and they are doing very wonderful things, analyzing very big networks. They have tools. So today is very normal to deal with big networks.
Professor, if you allow me, since you mentioned data science,
Yes.
yeah, that's very important. I think this helps you make it more clear rather. Yeah, because in the end, even if you have huge amounts of data, at the end, when you perform some analysis, you get some model that summarizes somehow the data. So it's a model that is simple, that you can actually manipulate, you can handle it, but it summarizes what happens to the whole data set. Like, for example, in today's very popular methods in AI, in artificial intelligence, something like ChatGPT or all these generative models, but you get some data, some probability distribution of the data. So it's just a model, a probability distribution that tells you what the data, the huge amount of data behaves. It's like rather. So it summarizes in a particular model the whole data set. And in this example, in the case of network science, you will also get there. You will get some models that tell you important information, the essence of the whole network. That's what we're going to study in the class. And these are very interesting questions, because that's what we are trying to go and answer in the class.
Yes, we're going to study important network models. Okay, are you seeing my screen or not?
Not anymore.
No.
Not? Okay, I'm gonna
Let's share it again, because I
gonna
think
share it again.
for a minute.
Okay.
Again, we encourage you to ask questions, and you can even speak them out, talk them out, or you're welcome to also post your questions on the chat. I'm looking at the chat as we go along.
Okay. Let me share my screen. I don't know.
Well, you share your screen because Oscar asked something about you talking about TSNE, right? This the first method to be one of the first method I shared there on the chat, right, Oscar? If it was the same as K-means, Oscar, because I did not answer your question. Oscar, are you there? Oscar Alvarez. So you asked whether the TSNE, the T-distributed stochastic neighboring embedding is the same as K-means, right? Is that was your question, Oscar? Was it? Wasn't it? No, they are actually K-means is a clustering algorithm, but TSNE is a way to find a distribution. So it's not it's not clustering. At the end, you get a distribution that explains the data. In this case, the network. So it's not the same. That would be like a short answer. Okay, Oscar. And I encourage you to maybe go and read the details about what TSNE is about.
Okay. Are you seeing my screen or not?
Yes, now we are seeing the worm. The worm is back.
Worm. Okay, this at the left is it's a very common worm. Biological networks, I guess they are today very important. Protein networks. There's a lot of research and work in biological networks.
Sorry, Professor, can you switch to presentation mode, please?
Okay.
Presentation mode. Because we are seeing the panel on the left. No, I mean it's okay, but it's just the way in PowerPoint you
yes.
Full screen. Just, there you go.
Okay. Neural networks are networks. We are not going to study in this course neural networks. This is more data science, but we're going to talk about neural networks. This is the conclusion of what we've been talking in the last half hour. Networks are everywhere, okay? And it's very important to study networks. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about the power of networks. Let me show you a small model. Okay. Tell me, what are you seeing here?
We hear you, we read you. What are you seeing?
I have no idea.
Some
No idea.
flies?
Let's
Some
wait.
sort of
Look what
simulation.
happened. You see what happened?
They appear and disappear.
Okay. What
This
the name
is
of this
a
phenomenon?
social network.
I'm gonna do it
Dynamic,
again. I'm gonna do it again.
dynamic interaction, right?
I'm gonna do it again.
Stephanie says a lot of points.
20 seconds.
Oh, but it says it right there. Flashing fireflies.
Okay.
They are
Precisely. They
synchronizing.
appear and
They are
disappear.
synchronizing. Thank you.
Oh.
They are synchronizing. This is a very common phenomenon in South Asia, where there are a lot of fireflies. And look what happened. Completely synchronized. Okay? It's a complex phenomenon. I'm going to show you another time this, but with one small change. What are you seeing now? The same phenomenon, but
They are
It
related.
depicts the
they are connected.
synchronization.
They are
The
related. Yeah,
synchronization happens because they are connected,
yeah, they're
not
related.
physically connected, okay?
They're related to each other.
They relate the one firefly see the near other fireflies and try to synchronize with them. It's a local phenomenon that is converted to a global phenomenon, okay? Okay. Behind each complex system, there is a network defining the system interactions. This is very important. When you're going to study complex systems, you have to study networks because behind every complex system, and this is a complex system, there's a network behind, okay?
Yeah, and if you allow me, then and that's a behavior that you observe in complex systems that the based on the local relations, then you see that some global properties that emerge from those local behaviors, like in these fireflies phenomena.
Yes. Okay. Let's see some applications of neuroscience. Robustness of a network. Let me show you two small videos to understand what is the robustness of a network. Look, look, 10, 15 seconds, and you tell me what is happening here.
It seems like the network on the right is not robust enough. So with the same attacks, it completely disattach all the nodes. While
Exactly,
the one on the left, it still remains something.
exactly. Look, I'm gonna show it again.
But
There
it
are two
seems that
types of attack. One is called a random attack, and one is called a hub attack.
But in order to perform the hub attack, we should know some details on the network, right?
Yes, yes.
Who was the one who spoke just now about the knowing the something about the network? Who was it? Who was it?
Do it.
Juan? Was it Juan?
Mhm.
Juan Ramos? Was it you?
Yes, yes, teacher.
Yeah, and especially, what do you think in this hub attack you will need to know so you can
Yeah,
maybe
the
more
number
damage?
of connections.
One?
Yeah, the number of connections that each node has.
Okay.
Yes.
And to be more to cause more harm or damage, what type of nodes would you attack? One.
Yeah, the ones that have more connections first,
Okay,
and
the
then
hopes, right? Somehow the hopes, what they call the hope. But we are gonna see that later on. That
You're gonna
concept.
see that later, what are hubs. But robustness is a very important concept.
Yeah, Paula gives a mathematical explanation. Paula Rodriguez. She says, I'm going to read what she wrote.
Okay.
The one on the left removes nodes randomly, and the one on the right, she's referring to the attack, the previous slide, removes nodes of higher degree. Yeah, exactly what Juan was talking about.
Exactly.
That's why the one on the right disconnects faster. Yes. Thank you, Paula and Juan.
Okay. Let's see another application here. This is a very important concept, is the concept of contagion. The concept of contagion could be biological contagion, for example, COVID, or social contagion, for example, how the information is spread in a network, okay? This phenomenon is very important. It's studied very much. Perhaps the word is diffusion on the network. How something is diffused on a network. Let me show you a small model. A very simple model. Look here. Here we have a network. This is a very important model of a network. This is called a small world network. It's something like that. Okay. We are going to infect.
Wait, Santiago, you were asking to show what? You said again, please. What were you? What do you wanna see again, Santiago?
The contraction.
Ah, okay.
If you can show it again, Professor, please.
This, look. Okay. Networks sometimes are like living organisms. This is a special type of networks. I guess is the most important model of networks. It's called a small world network. We're going to explore a little bit how the information or or an illness is diffused in a network. For example, here, look, the information is spreading. Here we have parameters. For example, this is the probability that the infection occurs, and yellow is infected and the other color is recovered. Okay. What happens if I augment this? More people recovering, all people are going to recover. Let me show again. I'm gonna slow this a little bit. Less infection, more recovery.
But so
Okay.
I mean, when a node flares up, when it turns bright, what does that mean? That there's been a contact, regardless of whether it was contagious or not, or what's the idea?
The idea is this network, the nodes of the network are infected or are contagiated according to a probability of infection, and the infection is going to is passing between the neighbors. No.
Professor, maybe you could develop a little bit more. So we could maybe give an explanation about what's happening, because Oscar and even Ivan say that they don't understand what's going on. And I think, yeah, you should focus on the contact, when you have a disease, infectious disease, if you get in contact with someone, you will get infected, right? And then, if you get in contact, I guess is the links there mean that you are getting in contact with someone, and then you will change the color, meaning that you get infected, and then you can recover, and then it change color, and then it will change it, because again you may get in contact with somebody who gets infected, and then you will get infected again, and so on and so forth. Right, Professor? Oscar, is it clear?
It's exactly that. Let's see the infection in this layout of the network. This is infected, the rest is not infected. In this case, the infection disappears because it takes some time, and After some time, the yellow nodes are recovered because there's a probability of recovery. But I'm going to put more probability of infection. This is not deterministic, so sometimes works, sometimes it didn't work. Here is spreading, you see, to the neighbors. One more. Some people recover. Okay, it's a simple model for seeing the development of an infection. There are only two states, infected or recovered. You know that in real life it's infected, recovered, there's death, there's susceptible, etc. But I want to show you a model that shows how occurs a diffusion in the network. There are a lot of types of networks. There are a lot of types of diffusions. This is a simple example to show how we can analyze things like the COVID, things like the spread of a rumor in a social network, etc.
Professor, if you're done with this example, I respectfully suggest that we take our break.
Okay.
Is that okay? So
Yes.
it's 7:30, so we can take a 10-minute break. So we'll meet back here in 10 minutes for a 10-minute break, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay.
And thank you, everyone. Okay, we're back. Just 1 minute, Professor, just to make sure, because since still have come in and out of the class, just verify that your name is here, please. First thing, and second thing, remember provide the description, a brief description. I see that some of you guys have already put the information there about the data set for the first assignment. By now, you should have chosen it already. So just if you haven't done it, please fill out the information there about your data set. Okay, thank you. So please, let's continue, Professor. Thank you.
Okay. Are you seeing my screen or not?
Not anymore.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we lost you.
Okay. Let me share the screen again. Okay. Now,
Yes, now we're seeing it.
okay, let's talk about more applications in network science. This is a very important word in data science, predictions. In network science, we can do very good predictions when we have data sets, but we could find the relation between the items in the data. We have a richer data set because we are converting a table in a network, okay? So probably there are better predictions. And this is the important point of network science. La apuesta del network science. When we could have relational data, we could do better predictions than if we don't have these relations. So today there's a lot of work in converting data sets to network sets. I don't know if it's clear. And when we have data sets enriched by the relations, we are going to do better predictions. Today, I'm going to show you very simple ways in which we could do predictions. Very simple ways, but very important ways. Let me show you. Let's go back to this small network. I'm gonna open a model in NetLogo. NetLogo is a language for networks. Okay. Okay. One moment. What you see here, guys? What?
A circle of nodes.
Okay,
Yes.
circle of nodes. These nodes are boys and girls. Okay, these nodes are boys and girls. Okay, in a school, they are playing. Okay, is the network of Jacob Moreno. I'm gonna ask you a silly question. Okay, which are boys and which are girls? Could you tell me?
There is no way to know.
There is no way to know. Another answer. Okay, no more answers. There is no way to know. Okay. I'm gonna show you the links between these boys and girls, okay? Okay? The same question, who are boys and who are girls?
What are they playing?
they are in the backyard. They are playing in football. I don't know. Some are in okay. They are in the school.
Yeah, because if it is a ball game and there are little kids, probably the ones with the most connections are the boys. The ones with the less connections
Okay.
are the girls, probably.
Who said that?
Manuel Peña.
Okay, Manuel, this is a very good observation. Maybe if the voice has have more links, if 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 a person has more links, it's a boy. Less links is a girl. Yes and no. Okay, yes and no. But it's an approximation. There are equal number of boys and of girls. There are equal numbers of boys and girls. They are. It's like this is the same network. Okay. Well, I lost my model. Here's my model. Okay. Look what I'm gonna do. Too fast? I guess it was too fast. Too fast. Let me repeat slowly. Look, what is happening? It's the same network. Nothing has changed. Only the position of the nodes. Okay? Excuse me.
Professor, if you allow me, maybe this is a way to show what I said before. You know, like
Yes.
there are many ways to visualize the same network, as you mentioned. You know,
This is a kind of interaction, really, probably.
no, it's the same one.
No, it's the same network displayed in a different way.
You
This
just
is
explain it.
Okay.
it's important. This is not a dynamic network. It's a static network, but I'm gonna put the network in another disposition, in another layout. Okay.
You're
But
turning.
okay, time is not passing. This is not a dynamic network. It's an alternative way to view it. Okay. It's important. It's not a dynamic network.
Santiago is saying, maybe you could comment on that. He's saying it's a better way to visualize the network. Do you agree with Santiago, Professor, or not?
Yes and no. Yes, depending of the purpose. But in this case, according to the question I asked, this is the better way to view the network. In another question, maybe this is not the way. Okay? I'm going to repeat the question for the third time. Okay? Whose are boys and whose are girls here?
The ones on the left are boys and the ones on the right are girls, or vice versa.
Okay, perfect. Let's see it. Okay?
And what are the yellow ones?
They are two isolated girls that are playing apart. Okay. Okay. This is the real network of Jacob Moreno. There were two girls and they were very important for their studies. But what I want to emphasize is that we can make predictions in a very simple way. These are not super predictions, but visualizing the network, it's an important tool for doing basic predictions. Okay? This is a good way to make predictions. As some of you said, girls here, boys here. It could be the opposite: boys here, girls here. Okay, but we can start studying this school, these guys analyzing the networks. And the idea of Jacob Moreno was that instead of talking every time to the boys and to the girls, let's observe them. Let's make a network of their interactions, and we can obtain a lot of results about the behavior and the problems that the girls and boys have. Okay, that was his work. I don't know if there are more questions about that.
Yes, teacher, I have a question. And that question is that, for example, each node in that graph has one connection or no connection between each other. But I want to know if there is something related like fuzzy connection, like a connection that could be like, I don't know, 50%, or maybe two
Yes.
people know, but they are only acquaintances, but not very close or familiar.
Yes, it's a very, very important question. It's a very, very important question. In this case, these links are homogeneous, But Jacob Moreno studied this link not homogeneous because some boys are more friends than others. This is the first approximation he made for doing predictions, assuming that simply these links are friends. But it's very important to know, as you said, how how more friends are, how they are good friends, they are very good friends. The strength of the links, it's very important in sociology. Yes, the strength of the links. So this is a model, but what you have just said is an important point. For analyzing truly this network, we have to know how strong are these ties. Okay, and this requires further research in the network. It is clear?
Yes. Professor,
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Mm, there is a way uh, that the software can not cross some links, or it is the best way to represent uh, that I say, or what I mean is because I already see in some databases software that organize an entity relationship model in automatic way, and I see this like something like that. Mm, but I see that when a model reorganized to represent uh, problems like this, uh, still crosses some links, and is a better way to see sometimes when not cross it any pues as soon as possible it is not cross any link to view a better graph.
Okay, you mean that the links are not intersected, something like that?
Yes,
Okay,
you can go better than this, or this is the best that the software could do at this
okay,
example.
okay. This is a good question. This this kind of visualization is a very famous visualization. It's called a spring visualization, spring resorte, uh, and it was discovered 10, 15 years ago for the layout of a network. It was discovered that this layout highlight what we have said, communities. These are like communities. Okay, this layout has nothing to do with how many intersections there are. There are layouts that minimizes the intersection. They serve other purposes in mathematics, for example, planar graphs, graph that could be drawn without crossing edges. But in this case, what we are trying to find are clusters or communities. And and this algorithm, this is one of a lot of algorithms for doing visualization. For example, here, if I do click here, it's a random visualization. Okay? Random visualization, circular visualization, spring visualization. There are a lot of visualization. Each visualization serves a purpose. For some problems, For example, for detecting boys and girls, the best visualization could be this, okay? But for other questions like who is stronger or who is the boy or the girl who has more influence over others, perhaps you need another way to see the network, okay? I don't
Okay,
know if that
thanks.
answered the question.
Yes, thanks, Professor.
Okay.
Professor, if you allow me to comment, yeah, that's a tricky question, and in general, it's not easy, especially when you have, more complex networks. Yeah, to avoid that the links cross is gonna be impossible, in general, unless you have like smaller networks or you, as Professor said, that some very particular type of graphs, like kernel graphs, then you can try to draw them without having that intersection. But that's a tricky question, and it's not easy in general,
It's not
especially when
easy.
you have
Yes.
complex networks. So sorry about that.
Yes, but the answer likes me so much because um, there are some algorithms that go as far as possible that the edge or the links not crosses is like a good
Yes, yes,
a good
yes.
answer.
Yeah, and that's and there are several algorithms, and each algorithm tries to optimize something when they visualize it. So there are several ways to visualize it, and they have some measures there to optimize. They are actually optimization algorithms, and try to avoid, for example, one of the main principles is that you mentioned, the one that you mentioned, is try to avoid to have as many crossings as possible. So you want to have the least amount of crossings in the links. That's one of the principles when you draw in those optimization algorithms, to draw the graphs.
Okay, yes. Okay, let's see another important application. There are important networks, political networks. You know that politics is okay. It's important. Let me show you this model. This woman is called Lada Adamic. He began the studies a long time ago, 2004, of political networks. He is a computational soil scientist at Facebook. He has a very important work in networks. And one of his most famous study is what I'm going to show you, okay? This time we're gonna use again Gephi, okay? Okay, again, this is a relatively big network. I'm not yet saying what is the net, what are the nodes and the links in this network. In a moment, I'm going to say it. 1,000 nodes, nearly 20,000 links. Okay. Before saying what are the semantic of the network, let me show you how to visualize it. I'm gonna choose heavy. Look, for example, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 ways to visualize a network. I'm gonna choose, I guess this is the, look. Okay. Now this is visualizing in a different way. Now I can say more or less what are the nodes and what are the links. The nodes are persons that in 2004 were participating in a blog that was talking about the US presidential elections. It was a blog sphere was the name of the blog. And there are people talking about Republicans and Democrats, okay, in the United States. Okay. And the links are who is talking with whom. This person is talking with that person, this with that person, etc. Okay? More or less, more or less. We are going here to find communities. Again. But first First, look that there are a lot of isolated nodes, okay? So I'm going to eliminate this because this is not letting me find optimal communities. There is here componente gigante. The giant component of a network is the bigger connected component. So, okay, is this in the center. So if I put here componente gigante and I filter, look what is going to happen. The points disappear, okay? So this is a connected network. So the person that don't talk never in the blog and don't participate with is not for interest to us. Something like that. Now I can build the communities. Excuse me, a little bit of more resolution. This doesn't matter. It's okay. Leave it like that. Okay. And we're going to visualize here the communities. Okay. What are you observing here? Please tell me.
There are two big communities that are related.
Yes. One of these community, Republicans, yes, and the other?
Democrats.
Democrats.
And what about the other two colors? The
Okay, yes.
yeah.
Yeah. They are radicals. They are Mexicans. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe different political beliefs.
No, talking seriously, these algorithms of funding communities are not perfect. Okay, they. I could graduate. I could put more. This is resolution. If I put 7 of resolution, for example, I could get 2 communities. Look, and now I'm gonna color them, and there are 2. Okay, I guess. Okay. What is the word here? Polarization. And this was a research made by this researcher that began to study political networks and study different concepts, how networks are polarized, and a lot of research was, and he decided to use networks for analyzing that. Before Ladamic, the research in this area was not with networks. So now it's very important, etc. This is another application. If you like politics or if you not like politics, but it's a very important research in networks. Okay, okay, we have seen that. There are other examples here. This is going to be in the web page, so you can see another examples, but I guess I don't have more time, and I think it's a lot of examples. I want to see with you another important things, okay? I don't know if there is any question before talking this last topic today.
Any questions? Any questions? Everything. I think you explained it very clearly, Professor. So please open your mic or write it on the chat if you have any question. I think not. So we can move on, Professor.
Okay. Worldwide impact. Okay. I guess you know these magazines, okay? Nature, you know? Yes? You have heard of Nature, guys?
Yes, of course.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes,
teacher.
of course. Okay. Science? Yes, of course.
Yes.
Likewise.
Okay, look, 2009. What are the principal topic of these top world magazines? Networks,
Networks.
complex system and networks, vital connections. Here is the brain. Uh, the important impulse of networks was more or less 202 when two researchers discovered a very important network model that is called small world networks. 202. And then began the research in networks. 209, they gained.
2000.
Thank you. 2009, they gained popularity, worldwide popularity. Today, very important. Networks are very important. Look what Google said. I'm going into 2019. Yes, 2019. I'm going to read it. Scientists of AI at Google's Google Brain and DeepMind units acknowledge machine learning is falling short of human cognition and propose that using models of networks might be a way to find relations between things that allow computers to generalize more broadly about the world. Okay? What are we seeing here? That big companies, Google in 290, I guess decided, okay, these networks are serious. We have to study them. We think it could be not the only future, but one of the futures of data science. So they are investing millions of dollars in networks. But they are investing more dollars in how, what is the name of the competence of the ChatGPT? BART? No, I forgot the name of
Yes. Bart.
BART. But there's
Gemini.
another. After BART, they build, Google build another. But I don't know the name, but they are investing also in network science. Okay. Okay, here are two important investigators. At the left is an Italian. Is from Italy. Is
Excuse me,
Vestignani.
Professor. Excuse me. Laura has a question. I'm going to read it now. She's
Okay,
asking,
Laura.
when do you think it is necessary or is the best option to use networks? First question.
Okay. Oh, not easy question, but no, not easy question.
But can you comment on it and I can complement? I think when you mentioned Google, I think that's one of the answers to it. You know.
Yes, yes. Okay, let me answer that question in the following way. In enterprises, all the data that enterprises use are relational, are databases, and the majority are relational. I don't know why when an enterprise is going to work in data science, they destroy the links, work with tables, and do predictions, but they not carry to the analysis the relations. I guess that 90% of the databases in the companies are relational databases. I guess that it was the beginning of data science was with tables because it was easy. It's my assumption, but I'm not sure. Because if one use entire network for analyzing, it's very complicated. But 10 years ago or 8 years ago, the researchers began to discover that they could use networks to do analysis. Let me show you this slide, the first slide. Okay, they discovered that they could. This is a machine learning process. Okay, a neural network, and the input is a graph. Before it was a table. Now the technology permits that you could put the graph here. So my answer to Lara's question is, I guess that nearly always you must use graphs because the graph has the data set inside, okay? Inside this graph is the data set because the data set are, I guess, the nodes, but the relations are important. So if you put all nodes plus relations, you do better predictions.
Professor, if you allow me to comment.
I don't know, but it's a personal opinion, okay? I don't know, Luis Fernando.
I wanted to comment on that. Yes, and you were right. You know, at the beginning, you went to tables and vectors because it was easier to manipulate them from the computational point of view, and also from the mathematical point of view, because the mathematics is much easier. Vector spaces, metric spaces were there all the time, and you could you have the methods there, the mathematical theory and probabilistic theory to work on vectors. That it was easier, matrices and vectors. But so the math is still being constructed actually about graphs and that. And also, though there was some theory there when it comes to graph theory, manipulating graphs in computer science, in computers is hard. It was harder, but it's becoming easier. So then that's and you are right. There were no methods. There were no computational methods, either mathematical or computational methods to deal directly with the graphs. But now there are. We have advanced, on those methods, and that's what this class is about. You are going to manipulate the networks themselves the way they are, without having to go to a linear or matrix representation. That's one thing. And the other question, Professor, by the way, because I think it's very interesting, Laura's asking, let me rephrase it. She's asking whether you will always need to have or to know or to have the relations clear between the agents, she calls them agents, in the data set. Like when you talk about for example, in databases, they talk about entities. Yeah, and I think when you talk about agents, it's okay to refer in general to agents. And as Professor said, basically all data that you get there in your databases, they come from agents, as you call them, on entities that have relations. The only thing is that you put them in a matrix and it's on a table, and it's hard to go back and remember what are the relationships between each one of the entities. But if you have a direct graph representation, then you have the direct information about the relationship between the agents that you mentioned. So, as Professor mentioned, right, Professor, and you can comment again on that, is
Okay,
that if you deal directly with the graph, you don't need to go back and look for the relations. They are already there, so you know which agent is related to which other agent and so. So, and you can perform the analytical processes on the graph, on the network itself. Professor, I don't know if you can comment on
Okay,
that.
let me answer with this example. Here we have two independent data sets. In the left, persons, very simple example. In the left, persons, in the right, cars. What information can we extract from if they are independent? For example, which is the youngest person? What is the most powerful car? What is the biggest engine of the car? But the set of questions is limited. In what sense is limited? Now we have relational data. John likes a BMW car. Bob likes Audi. But here, Bob is friend of John. Bob is friend of Alice. He's in Paris, he's in Tokyo. The connections in the data boost the amount of information that can be extracted. For example, now we can do new questions. Which two friends have the same car? Who owns more than one car? So the amount of information that can be extracted is bigger. The questions are bigger. So I guess having relational data, it's very important. It's very important. But I'm going to say it again. This doesn't happen before because, like Luis Fernando said, we have to begin with simple things. Neural networks where machine learning began, and the most simple way to feed a neural network was text, images that are information that go in data sets. But now we have graph neural networks, we have graph machine learning. So this is an evolution. This is an evolution. I don't know if there are more questions.
I think we answered Laura's questions. Yes, thank you, Professor. I think there are no more questions. We can move on.
Okay.
A quick question. Can we represent this relationship in a single graph? Because in one side we are seeing that the relation is that this owns this car, and in the other place we are seeing that this or that those are friends. So those seems like a categorical relationship.
Okay. There are a lot of types of graphs. There are bipartite graphs, multigraphs. So there is a lot of richness in how we can model the data. It could be categorical. For example, hierarchical networks are very important. That networks that are using enterprises. This is the chief. This is the president, vice president. These categorical networks are important. So graphs and networks have the flexibility to represent nearly any kind of information. So it's important to know that. And each type of graphs, multi-graphs, bipartite graphs that are very important, complete graphs, etc., are being studied a long time ago, and we have a lot of information about these types of graphs, I guess. Okay, any more questions?
No, I think Paula is also listing some other types of graphs, hypergraphs, graphs, pseudo graphs. There are many types of graphs, and then if you wish, you can study like graph theory, but that's like maybe it'll be theoretical. But in this class, we're gonna have like a some theory, but also some practical approach, right, Professor? Because we're gonna actually go and and see it in the context of data, data sets that represent networks, and then we are going to analyze them.
Okay. Look, the main question is here. How do we take advantage of relational structure for better analysis, prediction, and finally understanding? This is an important point. I guess prediction is important, but also understanding. And sometimes there's a lot of prediction, but personally, the important thing it's understand. It's understand. Okay, this young guy, it's a pioneer. His name is Jules Leskovec. He's an expert in graphs. He has a very good course, online course on graph machine learning, recommended. It is in the webpage. From this course that he offers online, free, I like that we could see from the minute 5:15 to 8 is more or less 3 minutes. And here, a person that is very important, and here Jules Kovac of how he views this question. Okay, I'm going to send to Luis Fernando the link.
So are we going to play now, Professor?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I'm going to send the link.
Okay.
3 minutes, but it's important that we hear from Jules Leskovec what he has to say.
Okay, just a second. From Stanford. Okay.
We're going to start the video, Luis Fernando, from more or less 5 minutes and 15 seconds.
Okay.
Because the beginning is something that we have just.
We have 15.
Okay. More or less.
Okay, so 5:15 you said, right?
Yes, more or less.
Okay, I'm there, I'm getting there. You may be looking at the video now.
Yes.
55.
I
think here is okay.
Okay.
As well as other domains that can naturally be modeled as graphs to capture their relational structure. And the main question for this class that we are going to address is to talk about how do we take advantage of this relational structure to make better, more accurate predictions. And this is especially important because complex domains have rich relational structure, which can be represented with a graph. And by explicitly modeling these relationships, we will be able to achieve better performance, build more accurate models, make more accurate predictions. And this is especially interesting and important in the age of deep learning, where today's deep learning modern toolbox is specialized for simple data types. It is specialized for simple sequences and grids. A sequence is like text or speech, has this linear structure, and there have been amazing tools developed to analyze this type of structure. Images can all be resized and have this spatial locality, so they can be represented as fixed size grids or fixed size tensors. And again, deep learning methodology has been very good at processing this type of fixed size images. However, graphs, networks are much harder to process because they are more complex. First, they have arbitrary size and complex topology. And there is also no spatial locality as in grids or as in text. In text, we know left and right. In grids, we have up and down, left and right. But in networks, there is no reference point. There is no notion of spatial locality. The second important thing is there is no reference point. There is no fixed node ordering that would allow us to do deep learning. And often these networks are dynamic and have multimodal features. So in this course, we are really going to talk about how do we develop neural networks that are much more broadly applicable. How do we develop neural networks that are applicable to complex data types like graphs? And really, it is relational data graphs that are the new frontier of deep learning and representation learning research. So intuitively, what we would like to do is we would like to build neural networks that on the...
Ok, yo creo que esos 3 minutos del video resumen, conciencialmente resumen muy bien, dan respuesta a las preguntas que se hicieron. Y es un buen resumen de cuál es la idea de usar las redes para hacer análisis de datos, ¿no?
Yes.
No sé si hay alguna otra pregunta.
Any other question? Yes, and it's a hot topic nowadays, you know, graph neural deep learning.
Excuse me, I was talking in Spanish.
I know. Yeah, it happened to me once. I switched to Spanish and I didn't realize it. Okay, that's right. Yeah, but yeah, I think the important point is that you analyze the networks directly, and you keep the the information about the relationships between the entities or the agents, as Laura called them. So you don't lose information, because when you go to the linear representation, like for example, what they talk about, like even like images, you can represent them as graphs, as these grids, regular grids. But when you go to graphs, and as he mentioned, there are this notion of locality. Maybe it's a different way to represent the locality, but it's based on the relation. Who am I directly related to? But that's about it. But we are going to see more about that in this class.
It's topological and not spatial. It's important. Topological. Okay. I'm going to share in the chat another short video of a very important research that was made nearly 10 years ago. I want to listen to this 3-minute video, and later we can comment. Okay.
Okay. Good. Share the link with me, please, if you wish.
So I'm going to share it. This is complete. It's the complete video.
Okay, from the beginning.
It's short,
okay,
but it's very illustrative.
I'm coming.
We do this scientific work because we want to go into uncharted water. This is the sense of adventure. Humans are the carriers that transport diseases. Everything we touch provides an opportunity for the pathogen to spread from one person to another. Our daily interactions form the social network along which germs travel. But imagine if we could use that social network to predict the path of a virus before it travels around the globe. Then perhaps the germ you carry to get your morning coffee won't lead to an outbreak, because you'll know when to be ready for it. The way we can look at the world is we think in terms of networks now. Everything basically that we have built around us is a network. When you have such an awareness, you can really think about changing the world around you. One of the things that we really want to achieve is predictive power to track diseases and then develop models that allow us to forecast their evolution across the world. We integrate entire databases on human mobility, census data on where people live, geographically located, and that's create a kind of synthetic world in the computer. From this synthetic world in the computer, we run numerical simulations that forecast what and how and when the epidemic will spread around the world. You have to hand out those forecasts and scenarios to policymakers, and then they have to factor many, many things. You can tell hospitals this is the time that you have to postpone anything that can be routinely postponed, and that intensive care units must be free because you might face a wave of sick people needing attention. We can all think back to the H1N1 epidemic of 2009. That was the first time we were in a position to do a real-time exercise. And what we were able to predict, according to our data, was that the flu was going to peak in October, November, which is about 4 months earlier than the flu usually peaks. We can do a validation of those results, and those results were mostly correct by the week. Now we can see that our computational models, the data that we integrate, and the knowledge that we have accumulated on the spreading of diseases is finally being recognized for achieving predictive powers. At this moment, what we have here at Northeastern is a concentration of the most prominent people in the field. Is where things are happening. And somehow, what I feel is that we are living some kind of a revolution. So network science, data science, what we have at the moment is something that allows us to do incredible progress in an area that was not even possible to define 10 years ago. That's really like being in the right spot at the right time. It's amazing.
Okay. I don't know if there are any comments of the video. Any questions?
Does anybody want to comment on the video? Nobody. Are you still there, guys? Are you guys still there?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, let me do one comment.
Yes.
One important comment. Bueno, let me ask you a question. AH1N1 was an epidemic in 2009. You remember? AH1N1, H1N1. You remember that? Yes.
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 In what country? In what country began the epidemic?
Mexico.
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 This guy Vespignani, this Italian, was the government of Mexico, I guess, was called the group he was liderating in epidemics. And in the video, he says that they studied the AH1N1, and they get a very important conclusion. The peak of the epidemic, it was going to be 4 months before than normal. Okay, that was the conclusions. They revised the conclusion, and they tell the government of Mexico, look, this epidemic is going to be very strong 4 months earlier. Fortunately, the Mexican government believe the predictions, and they take measures. Yes, and effectively, the peak was 4 months before. This was a very good result of network science, and a very good result for Mexico, and that accelerated the popularity or the impact of network science. This was a very important achievement. Okay, a very important achievement of network science. Okay. We are going to see another short video of a very important research that has to do with another researcher. So I'm going to share the name of the researcher is Nicholas Christakis. We're going to see what is his research. Okay, so I'm going to share the link to the video.
Okay.
Let me see this video. uh, Luis Fernando, this video begins at 19 minutes and 10 seconds. Okay?
Wait.
Thank you.
Wait, something.
It's a long video, so we are going to show the important parts. It's long. This video is long.
I'm having some trouble trying to play the video. Let me try it again because it says something about, but I don't think there is any information. Any. It said that the video can be inappropriate for some users. Let me just try. And maybe because right now I'm connected to the Universidad Nacional user, it doesn't allow me to. Let me just try to play on my my personal account, and I need to switch there to. Oh, sorry, no, this is not. Sorry, just give me a second because I'm having trouble. Wait, guys, can you try to play the video? Because for some reason it's telling me that I'm not allowed to watch the video here.
Yes, I tried and I could not open the link.
It said that maybe it's from the university user or nationalist. Can anybody play it? And so you can share it because it's.
Yeah. If you click that you wish to proceed, it plays the video.
Nobody, because I'm connected to the Universidad Nacional, it didn't allow me to.
Yeah, with a personal account, it says still that you cannot until you press the I wish to proceed.
But then I will need to because I'm.
Oh, there it is.
Can you see it? What was the time? 19 with.
The time. One moment. 1910.
Thank you. Because I have to switch to my personal account.
But natural social networks look nothing like the artificial networks we just saw. They look more like this network. Here's a slide, in fact, of such a natural network illustrating one of our own studies. And this image was one that we made in order to help understand the role of social networks in the obesity epidemic. Beginning a few years ago, maybe 10 or 20 years ago, it had become fashionable to speak about the obesity epidemic. And it was clear that obesity was epidemic in one meaning of the word, meaning that there's more of it than there was before. For example, just in the last 10 years, the prevalence of obesity has gone from about 20% to about 30%, and fully 2/3 of Americans are now overweight or obese. So something is going on that has given rise to an increasing amount of obesity. And there are a number of structural factors that have been suggested as causing the obesity epidemic, because we don't really believe that there's something biological going on here, even though the individual's biology can explain variation between people and how big they are. Our biology hasn't changed that much over the last 30 years. So something social, something else must be going on to help explain why obesity has been rising so much. And people have offered a number of structural explanations. Maybe there's the declining real price of food. Food is cheaper than it used to be, so by basic economics, you're going to buy more of it. Maybe it's the marketing of food, the way food is marketed to us, or the fat composition of food. Or there have been other sorts of changes that affect how many calories we use up every day in the course of our lives. We have more sedentary lifestyles. There's been a change in occupations. We have a more service-oriented economy than a labor-oriented economy. There's a changing pace of life in our society. The design of our cities, urban design and suburban design, people don't move around as much anymore. And people had offered all of these kinds of explanations for the obesity epidemic. But we wondered whether we could add an explanation, whether we could understand obesity as being truly epidemic, as if something were spreading from person to person. It wasn't just a metaphoric epidemic, it was a literal epidemic. Could we find evidence for a kind of social contagion whereby weight gain in one person could affect weight gain in other people to whom they were connected? And in fact, we began to think about obesity in a sociological way. Could we think about obesity and the epidemic of obesity as being somehow related to the suicide example I was discussing earlier, where something collective seems to be determining individuals' likelihood of killing themselves? Could something collective be contributing to individuals changing their body size? So to the extent that obesity is a product of personal choices and voluntary behaviors, The fact that people are embedded in social networks and are influenced by the appearance and behaviors of those around them led us to suppose that it might be possible to find evidence of a spread of obesity within social networks. So we needed a special kind of data to do this. And this image shows 2,200 people drawn from the very famous Framingham Heart Study in the year 2000. Every dot is a person, and every line between them represents a relationship between the two people. Bigger dots are bigger people. And in addition, we color the dots yellow if people are properly obese. And if you look at this image, you can see clustering of obese and non-obese individuals within the image. It's still a very complicated image, but if you study it mathematically, you can find evidence of these clusters of yellow and red dots, so that people's body size seems to be related to the body size of other people to whom they are connected. And we were able to analyze these data and discern evidence for the clustering and interpersonal influence, such that if people around you gained or lost weight, it affected you as well. And it seemed to spread from person to person, and from person to person to person, and even from person to person to person to person, so that weight gain and weight loss seemed to spread within the network. And one uses various kinds of statistical methods to analyze such data, ranging from all kinds of statistical models to social network analysis to actual experiments that one can do. Now, in the process of studying the
over 10,000 people have died
Yo creo que
in Gaza
gracias.
already.
Sí, okay. The video is longer, but this bit is important. It's Nicholas Christakis he's doctor. He's a doctor, physicist. He studied social networks a long time ago. He has a wonderful book that is called Connected, a recommended book. It's in the webpage, a very well-written book. And he studied what in the video he said, social contagion. For example, he studied obesity is his principal study, what made him famous. But he also studied happiness. Okay, happiness is contagious. Sadness is contagious. He do a lot of research in networks. His group has built tools for analyzing networks. He works in Yale University, and is known worldwide for his studies in obesity. I don't know if there is any question or commentary of the video.
Does anybody want to comment on the video? Because I think it's not that obvious, right, Professor? I mean, it's not that obvious that maybe obesity may be contagious, somehow, because of the social relations among people. Does anybody want to comment anything about that?
Yeah, I suppose attending to the man's understanding of the phenomenon that he studied a dynamic network precisely.
Yes.
Because only then could you have noticed that as somebody got fatter, the people surrounding them would have gotten fatter as well, or vice versa.
Yes, Ivan, that is a very important observation. The study of obesity that Christakis and his group did last for 10 years. Excuse me. The research group found a database of a hospital, I guess, that has a lot of information of people and information of 20 years, what illness they have, it's a very big, it's a famous database. They bought $1 million that database. Yale University approved to Christakis to buy that information, and he had that information was very good information, very good constructed, and they began to study that information, and they made the research. So it's a dynamic network because the database had information of 20 years and it's very detailed. Imagine follow 100 of patients over 20 years. This is incredible. It's a database that was carefully constructed. In this moment, I don't know the name of the database, but this database is used for a lot of studies, and he and his group was studied that database and made all these studies of obesity and other types of contagion. Okay. Any more observations or
I guess no more comments.
okay? The story makes you think that the phrase cliche, you are the sum of the five. Oh, I don't. Who published that chat of the cliche?
That was
I didn't know that cliche. It's very good. You are the sum of the five closest people. Okay, Stephanie, where did you found that cliche? In what book or how do you know this cliche?
A lot of coach, I don't know, social media influencers use that phrase.
It's I'm going to adopt that phrase in my presentations because I guess it's a very catchy phrase and illustrates the work of Christakis because he's convinced that the neighbors and the neighbors of neighbors he go to level 3. In the video he talks of friends of friends and friends of friends of friends because this number 3 is very important for Christakis. Look a note and look three hops away. Your cliché, Stephanie, is of 5, but this is okay.
It's true.
I like that. Okay. Any more observation? Okay. I guess we can finish today's session, but with a little homework that I want to put you. The best video of network science, I have it here. Let me talk a little bit and we finish. Okay. Let me talk a little bit of these 3 guys.
Wait, just so
Okay.
you know, you are not sharing your screen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wait a minute. Okay, thank you. Tell me if you are seeing my screen.
Yeah.
Okay. What you are seeing are I guess, the 3 most important persons in network science. Duncan Watts, sociologist, and Stephen Strogat, mathematician, discovered the small world networks that are very, very important model of networks. Albert Barabasi, he's from Hungary, from Budapest, discovered the preferential networks, a very important model. They are worldwide leaders in network science. And a company, I don't know which company, which television company made a network, excuse me, made a video that lasts 17 minutes. The name is, I think this is not the name. Let me verify because it's important. I'm gonna run the video in silence because I want to know the name of, okay. Okay, the promise of network science, okay? Yes. Okay. The homework, the small homework, is that for next Wednesday, you are all going to see this video, okay? Okay?
Okay.
Okay,
And,
perfect.
and, and generate 2 or 3 questions in a piece of paper. And we began the next session talking about the video. And in the next session, we're going to advance in a little of graph theory and what types of networks and something a little more technical. This first session was a motivational session. I hope you have been motivated to study this important topic of network science. And I guess that's all I have to say today. I don't know
if you allow me to comment on, yes, thank you. And yes, motivational. I wanted to maybe, I was looking for some examples. I think when Ivan asked some questions, but I wanted to show maybe, let me see, I just share the whole screen. A couple of examples because visualization is hard, it's difficult, but it's also very, very important. You know, and you can use all the tools that are there out there, and you can do this kind of or use this kind of tricks. For example, when you visualize the networks, like are you looking at this? This is actually is a natural gas network. So you see what I was talking about, and when Ivan asked, you know, you have some thicker pipes here, maybe some thinner pipes, to mean that
Yes.
what the kind of the what would be the size of the distribution pipe is thinner or larger or bigger, like in this example. And the other example, by the way, I think I'm gonna share this link there on the chat. Let me just share it. Is that you can also use tricks like as we saw before, like to show, like, for example, to make this circle, the nodes bigger, like in this example. Let me see, show the, where is it? Yeah. Like in, oh, sorry, let me just go back to this figure. I think I have it open here. Anyways, no, this not this one, but this one. No, the same. This one. So you have like, you can use the information about the nodes to make them bigger, and it may have some meaning. Like in this example, this is also a fuel distribution network. Oh, let me see. Yes, a fuel distribution network. And then what you have there, just as an explanation, an intuitive explanation, like the size of the node, let's say, this is a topologic visualization of the fuel transportation network in the San Francisco Bay Area. So each circle represents a node within the network. So you can use colors, you know, to differentiate what type of colors or networks or nodes rather you have. And also the size of the circle in this example corresponds to the degree of each node. So you can use, or you can have other types of interpretations. But in this example, the size of the node represents the degree, which is a term that we are going to see later, but in general, its intuitive manner is that it has more connections than the other ones that are smaller ones. So that's I just wanted to highlight that regarding graph or network visualizations. Okay.
Yes.
Professor,
example.
I was thinking maybe, yeah, we can set a discussion forum for about the video. But
oh, excellent.
Yes,
excellent idea. Excellent idea, Luis Fernando.
You can comment on it.
We can open a forum
and they can start comment as they watch the video. Okay.
And it's better because they have the whole week for participation.
Okay. Yes. Exactly.
Okay. I guess a very good idea.
Oh, and let me see. Oscar has a final question. We are almost about to finish the session, but he says, Oscar asks, I have a question. Do AI, artificial intelligence, I guess, networks currently exist? Can you, they could be interested to study. What do you mean by AI networks? Oscar, can you explain, please? Oscar? Can you open your microphone, Oscar? Oscar, what do you mean by AI networks? They would be interesting to study. I don't know if it's good, but because in artificial intelligence we have a lot of networks. Even when from decades ago, you have like knowledge networks, and they also have different knowledge. Like semantic networks.
Semantic knowledge networks,
and they are
very important.
They are also now being used. We have networks.
They use a lot in AI. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. There are different types of networks. Nowadays
knowledge
networks, all these deep neural networks. Depending on the type of artificial intelligence you're dealing with, you have different types of networks. So, I mean, there are many ways. There are many types of networks in artificial intelligence. Oscar. And actually, just some advertising. Well, I've been teaching the neural networks class like every year. I teach it once a year, so I may be teaching it next term. Okay, again, and it's a very fun class. We see half of the class. A lot of the class has to do with deep neural networks. But just in case you guys are interested. But anyways,
I think Oscar is going to do his project in AI networks. I guess.
Yes, Oscar. That's
for sure.
Yeah, Oscar, we invite you to maybe investigate a little bit more, do research on that, and then you can work on your project on AI networks. Juan has a question. Juan?
Yes, I was checking the slides that are on the webpage, but it seems like they are not updated. I was searching for the 17-minute video that Professor Alfonso was mentioning, and it's not there. Can you please update?
So let's check them. Can we share the link here? But yeah, thank you, Juan. We need to maybe check the links there. They may be broken there on the website just to verify them, Professor.
What link of the presentation?
I can update it. I can download it, but it's not the latest presentation. It's missing the latest video.
To update the presentation.
Who's asking that question because it's important? Who is asking?
Juan Ramos.
Okay, Juan. Okay, the slides that are in the web page are more or less the slides 1 year ago. I was going to use the same slide because I thought that they were very good slides, but 2 days ago I began to see the presentation, and I said I'm going to change some slides. So 70% of the presentation is 1 year ago, and 30% is new. So I'm going to publish in the web page this new version, because even today I was making changes to the presentation I used today. This morning I was doing changes. So I promised to put this last version in the web page in tomorrow or Friday. Okay. Thank you for the observation.
Thank you, Juan. Okay, I guess it's time to finish the session. Thank you, everyone. Please complete with the assignments that we gave you, and so we will be emailing you if we have anything related to the class. Okay, Oscar, do you have any question by that reaction, Oscar? Oscar? Okay. In Teams. So what do you mean in Teams? Yeah, for this assignment, yes. I need to, by the way, I need to update it. Yeah, I already have the assignment, the new students. Yes, thank you, Oscar, for the question. I will update, and you guys have put it together. So, by the way, I'm going to stop the recording here now, and you can leave. It's that those students, maybe the new students, you can stay a few more